Talkatoo Podcast.
English conversation made easy.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Talkatoo English Podcast. I'm Emma, and it's so lovely to have you here with us again. Dilo, how's your day been? Please tell me it's been a little less exciting than last week.
Well, define exciting. This morning, I was looking for one photo on my phone, and somehow I ended up scrolling through pictures from 6 years ago.
Oh no, that's a dangerous journey.
It really is. I only wanted to find one picture of a restaurant. 30 minutes later, I was looking at old vacations, birthdays, random selfies with terrible hairstyles.
The hairstyles are always the biggest surprise.
Exactly. I looked at one photo and thought, who told me that haircut was a good idea?
Probably the same person who told me I looked cool wearing bright green sneakers with absolutely everything.
See, we all have evidence that we've made interesting fashion choices.
That's one way to describe them.
But after laughing for a while, something changed. I looked at the dates under those photos and thought, wait, that was 6 years ago?
I know that feeling so well.
It honestly didn't feel like 6 years. In my head, it felt like maybe 2.
I think that's one of the strangest things about getting older. The days can feel long, but somehow the years seem to disappear.
That's exactly what surprised me. I could remember taking those photos so clearly, but I couldn't understand where all the time in between had gone.
Before we continue, we just want to say thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're driving to work, making dinner, taking a walk, or simply relaxing with a cup of coffee or tea, we're really happy you're here.
And thank you for all your kind comments. We love reading where you're listening from, what you've learned, and even the little stories you share about your own lives. It really feels like we're having one big conversation together.
We also know that many of you listen to each episode twice. First, just to enjoy the conversation, and later with the PDF to review the vocabulary. We think that's a wonderful way to build your English naturally.
And if these conversations have become part of your weekly routine, don't forget to subscribe to Talkatoo English Podcast. We'd love to have you back next week.
You know, your story reminds me of something I noticed a few days ago.
What's that?
I walked past a small playground near my apartment. There was a little boy learning to ride a bicycle while his dad ran beside him.
That's a nice picture.
It really was. Then I suddenly remembered watching my nephew learn to ride a bike in almost exactly the same way.
That doesn't sound unusual.
The unusual part is that my nephew is in high school now.
Wow.
I honestly stood there for a moment thinking, how did that happen so quickly?
You know, that's exactly the feeling I had looking at those old photos.
And I don't think it's really about getting older.
Then what is it?
Maybe it's realizing that life doesn't usually race past us in dramatic moments.
It quietly moves forward through ordinary Tuesdays, simple dinners, weekend walks, and little conversations we don't think we'll remember.
I like that.
It actually makes me wonder if we're paying enough attention while those ordinary moments are happening, or if we only realize how valuable they were after they've already become memories.
You know, after our last conversation, I kept thinking about something. Have you ever noticed how often we say, "I'll do it later"?
Have I? Emma, I think that's my favorite sentence.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. I'll clean my room later. I'll start exercising next Monday. I'll organize my photos next weekend. Future Dilo is a very busy person.
Future Dilo also sounds incredibly productive.
He's amazing. He wakes up early, never gets tired, drinks enough water, calls his family every week, and somehow always has time to cook healthy meals.
It's a shame we've never actually met him.
Exactly. Every time future Dilo is supposed to arrive, somehow present Dilo shows up instead.
I think that's something almost everyone can relate to.
But can I disagree with you a little?
Of course.
I don't think waiting is always a bad thing.
Sometimes life is genuinely busy. If you're working hard, taking care of your family, or trying to save money, you can't just do everything immediately.
I actually agree with that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think the problem is waiting.
Then what is it?
I think the problem is waiting without a reason.
Explain that.
Imagine someone says, I'll travel after I save enough money.
That makes sense.
Exactly, that's a plan.
Right.
But if someone keeps saying, maybe next year, maybe the year after that, without ever taking one small step,
Then they're not really waiting.
they're postponing.
Those two words sound similar, but they feel completely different.
They really are.
You know, my neighbor did something that made me think about this.
Oh,
He bought a guitar during the pandemic.
nice.
Every time I saw him, I'd ask, "How's the guitar going?"
Let me guess.
He'd smile and say, "I'll start when work becomes less busy." 3 years later, the guitar still looked brand new.
That's a little sad.
It is. And one day he laughed and said, "I think I've been waiting for a life that doesn't exist."
Wow, that's a powerful sentence.
It really stayed with me.
Because the truth is, life is rarely completely calm.
There's always another project,
Another bill,
another responsibility.
another reason to say, I'll do it later.
You know what's funny?
What?
We think we're protecting our time for important things.
But sometimes,
We accidentally spend years waiting for the perfect moment instead of enjoying imperfect ones.
I don't think anyone's life suddenly becomes perfectly organized one Monday morning.
That's disappointing.
I know.
But maybe that's actually good news.
Why?
Because if the perfect time never comes,
Then maybe we're free to begin with the time we already have.
and maybe that's what those old photos were trying to remind me of. Most of the moments I treasure today weren't perfectly planned. They simply happened because someone decided that today was good enough.
You know, there's another idea I'd love to challenge today.
Oh? Which one?
The idea that being busy automatically means we're living a meaningful life.
That's a dangerous topic.
Laugh. Why?
Because if being busy doesn't mean I'm productive, I need to ask myself some uncomfortable questions.
Well, let's explore them together.
Okay, I'll be honest. Some evenings I finally sit on my sofa and think, wow, I've been busy all day.
And then?
Then I ask myself what I actually did.
Uh-oh.
Exactly. I answered emails, went to meetings, cleaned the kitchen, bought groceries, replied to messages, and somehow the whole day disappeared.
Does that make you feel like you wasted the day?
That's the strange part. I don't think I wasted it,
Me neither.
but I also don't remember much about it.
I think that's an important difference.
What do you mean?
Some days are full,
Okay.
and some days are memorable.
Those aren't always the same thing.
Exactly.
You know, last weekend I had almost nothing planned.
Really?
Yeah, usually I'd think that sounded boring.
But
A friend called and asked if I wanted to walk around the lake near our neighborhood.
that sounds nice.
We walked for almost 2 hours. We bought ice cream from a tiny shop, sat on a bench, watched people feeding ducks, and somehow ended up talking about dreams we had when we were teenagers.
I love conversations like that.
Me too. And here's what's funny.
Tell me.
On paper, that afternoon looked completely ordinary.
No big event.
No expensive trip.
No exciting adventure.
But if you ask me about last weekend a year from now,
You'll probably remember that walk.
I think I will.
You know, a few days ago, I was organizing some old notebooks.
Were they full of brilliant ideas?
Laugh. Some were, but I also found an old shopping list.
A shopping list?
Yes, it said bread, tomatoes, milk, apples.
That's not very exciting. No. But tucked inside that notebook was a little movie ticket from the same week. Oh.
I immediately remembered going to that movie with my sister. We laughed because we got completely lost afterward and spent almost an hour trying to find the car.
Now that's a memory,
Exactly. I remembered the laughter.
not the shopping list.
Right.
I think that's what scares people when they hear, "Don't waste your time."
Really?
Yeah, they imagine they need to climb mountains, travel the world, or do something incredible every weekend. I don't believe that at all.
Me neither anymore.
I think living fully often looks surprisingly ordinary, like having dinner with your family without rushing, calling a friend just because you miss them,
Reading a book in the park.
watching the sunset instead of checking your phone every 2 minutes. Maybe we're asking ourselves the wrong question.
Which question?
Instead of asking, "Was I busy today?" maybe we should ask, "Did I actually notice the life I was living today?" Because one day, we'll probably forget most of our busy schedules, but we'll remember the ordinary moments that made us feel truly alive. You know, can I tell you about something that happened a few months ago? It wasn't a huge event, but it completely changed the way I think about time. Of course. What happened?
I was cleaning my apartment when I found an old paper calendar in a drawer.
A paper calendar? I haven't used one in years. Neither had I. I almost threw it away, but then I started flipping through the pages. What did you find?
Little notes. Dinner with Mom. Walk with Sarah. Visit Grandpa. Coffee with Anna.
That's actually really sweet. It was. But then I noticed something strange.
What?
I couldn't remember the busy work days that filled most of that year. But I remembered almost every little note about people. Wow. I could picture the cafe where we laughed for hours. I remembered my grandpa telling the same story he'd told 100 times before. I even remembered how cold it was the day my mom and I walked through the park. That's amazing. It made me realize something. Let me guess. People filled your memories more than your schedule did. Exactly.
You know, something similar happened to me recently. Really?
Yeah, an old friend invited me to his birthday.
Nice.
My first reaction was, "I'm too busy." I almost sent a message saying I couldn't come.
But you didn't.
At the last minute, I changed my mind.
What made you change it?
Honestly, I remembered our conversation from earlier about waiting for the perfect time.
Really?
Yeah, I thought, if I keep saying I'm busy, one day everyone will stop inviting me.
That's such an honest thought.
So I went.
And?
We spent 4 hours together.
Doing anything special?
Not really. We ate homemade food, played a silly board game, laughed at old photos, and argued about which songs were popular when we were teenagers.
That sounds like a very important argument.
It was, and I was obviously right.
I'm sure your friends would tell a different story.
Probably.
So was it worth changing your plans?
Absolutely. On the way home, I realized something.
What was it?
I couldn't remember what I'd been too busy doing that evening. But I knew I'd remember that birthday for a long time.
I think that's what life quietly teaches us.
What's that?
Most of the moments that matter don't announce themselves.
They don't arrive with fireworks.
They usually arrive looking like an ordinary invitation, an ordinary phone call, or an ordinary evening.
And we almost miss them because we're looking at tomorrow instead of today.
Exactly.
You know, I still think working hard is important.
I do too.
But I don't want to build a life where my calendar is full and my memories are empty.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Maybe that's the balance we're all looking for. Working hard enough to build a good future, but living enough that today's ordinary moments become tomorrow's favorite memories.
You know, when we started today's conversation, we were laughing about old photos and terrible hairstyles.
I still can't believe I thought that haircut looked good.
Honestly, I think every old photo teaches us two things.
What are they?
First, our fashion choices improve.
Hopefully.
And second, time moves whether we notice it or not.
I think that's the idea I'll remember from today.
Me too. But I also don't want people to hear today's episode and feel guilty.
That's important.
Because life isn't about trying to make every single day extraordinary.
Honestly, that sounds exhausting.
It really does.
I think today's conversation actually made me feel calmer.
Really?
Yeah, at first, I thought this episode was going to tell me to travel more, work less, wake up earlier, learn 5 new hobbies, and somehow become a completely different person by tomorrow.
That sounds like one of your Monday morning plans.
Exactly. But that's not what we've been talking about at all.
Number.
We've been talking about noticing the life that's already happening.
I think that's the heart of it.
You know, when I get home tonight, I think I'm going to do something a little different.
Oh?
Instead of eating dinner while scrolling on my phone, I'm going to call my parents and eat while talking to them.
I think they'll love that.
I hope so. We usually have short conversations, but somehow they're always the best part of my day.
That's a beautiful habit.
What about you?
Tomorrow morning, I'm going to walk to the little bakery near my apartment instead of driving to the supermarket.
Just for fresh bread?
Fresh bread and a slower morning. I know the woman who works there always asks how my week is going, and somehow that tiny conversation always makes the day feel a little warmer.
I love that.
It's only 5 extra minutes.
But 5 minutes can become a memory.
Exactly.
Before we finish today, maybe we can leave everyone with one question.
I'd love that. So here's our question for you. Imagine you're looking back at this year 5 years from now. What's one ordinary moment you'd like to remember? Maybe it's having dinner with your family, calling an old friend, taking a walk without your phone, reading with your child, visiting your grandparents, or simply sitting outside and watching the sunset. What small moment would you like your future self to thank you for?
My answer would be having more dinners with the people I love. Looking back at those old photos made me realize I never remember what was on the table. I remember who was sitting around it.
I love that. And my answer would be saying yes a little more often when people invite me somewhere. Not because every invitation becomes an unforgettable adventure, but because some of the happiest memories in my life began with someone simply asking, "Would you like to come?"
You know, I think we finally found the answer to the question we started with.
Which one?
Where did all those years go? They became the ordinary days we barely noticed while we were living them.
And maybe that's why ordinary days deserve a little more attention.
Because the days feel long,
But the years feel short.
so let's make our ordinary days count.
And if you'd like to review today's vocabulary and expressions, don't forget to check the PDF in the description.
Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. Every comment, every message, and every story you share reminds us that this little community is growing all around the world, and we're so grateful you're part of it.
And if Talkatoo English Podcast has become one of the ordinary moments you look forward to each week, don't forget to subscribe. We'd love to see you again in our next conversation.
Until then, don't wait for the perfect day to start living. Notice the one that's already in front of you, because one day you'll look back and realize these ordinary days were the good old days all along.